outside to hear a yelp from the male. He swore and turned, looking at her over his shoulder with the most glorious pale green eyes she'd ever seen. He wasn't a handsome man. His face was too broad across the cheekbones, his nose too crooked, and his mouth too thin and cynical for true masculine beauty. But his eyes would draw any female, young or old, from across a room. And once drawn, their gaze would linger on the look of arrogant male virility he wore as naturally as he breathed. Or perhaps it was merely the, circumstances that gave him the look. "Do you mind, love?" he drawled, the anger in his expression having changed to faint amusement when he caught sight of her. His voice was gravelly and completely unhurried. "I'm busy here." She could feel heat suffusing her cheeks. Really, this was an impossible situation. But she met his gaze, making quite sure hers did not wander lower. "Indeed, I had noticed, but I thought you should know." "Unless you're the type who likes to watch." Now her face was aflame, but she wasn't about to let this wretch get the better of her verbally. She allowed her gaze to drop swiftly and scornfully down over his rumpled waistcoat and shirt. Fortunately, the tail hid his open breeches. And back up. She smiled sweetly. "I prefer entertainments in which I'm not in danger of falling asleep." She expected her insult to anger him, but instead, the rogue tutted. "Happens a lot to you, does it, sweetheart?" His voice was solicitous, but a sly dimple appeared beside his wide lips. "Falling asleep just as the fun's about to begin? Well, don't blame yourself. Like as not, it's the gentleman's fault, not yours." Good God! No one ever spoke to her like this. Slowly, awfully, Hero arched her left brow. She knew it was slow and awful, because she'd practiced the movement in front of a mirror for hours on end at the age of 12. The result made seasoned matrons tremble in their heeled slippers. The devilish man didn't turn a hair. "Now, as it happens," he drawled obnoxiously, "my ladies don't have that problem. Stay and watch. It'll prove instructive, I guarantee. And if I have any strength left over after, maybe I'll demonstrate." "Lord Pembroke is in the hallway," she blurted, before he could finish his dastardly thought. The mound of puce and brown-striped skirts quaked. "Eustace is here?" "Quite, and heading this way," Hero informed Lady Pembroke, with only a touch of satisfaction. The gentleman exploded into action. He was up and off the lady and throwing down her skirts to hide her pale, soft thighs before Hero could even blink. He caught up his coat, made one swift, appraising glance about the room, and turned to Hero, his voice still unhurried. "Lady Pembroke has torn a ribbon or lace or some such thing, and you've kindly consented to help her. But—" he placed his forefinger against her lips. Warm, large, and quite shockingly inappropriate. At the same time, a male voice called from the hallway. "Bella!" Lady Pembroke, or Bella, squeaked in fear. "There's a good girl," the rogue whispered to Hero. He turned to Lady Pembroke, bussed her on the cheek, and murmured, "Steady on, darling," before disappearing under the settee. Hero had only a moment to watch Lady Pembroke's pretty, insipid face go ashen as she realized fully the peril she was in, and then the door to the sitting room crashed open. "Bella!" Lord Pembroke was big, reddened, and quite obviously intoxicated. He glanced belligerently around the room, his hand on his sword, but froze in consternation when he saw Hero. "My lady, what—" "Lord Pembroke?" Hero casually stepped in front of the settee, obscuring a large masculine heel with her wide skirts. She employed her